It's a well-known fact that Amazon is not only like the world's leading e-commerce site, or at least one of them. Alibaba's pretty close as well, I guess. But what people do not take advantage of, try to implement, copy, replicate, leverage is this little thing that Amazon does really, really well. And many other companies do this well too, because they figured out that, oh, if my good friends at Amazon are doing this, maybe I should too. So what am I talking about? Well, when you walk around a shopping mall, like an actual shopping mall, remember some people actually physically go to shopping malls still and they look into the window? They call that window shopping. Now, an extension of window shopping is actually going into the store, maybe looking at it, trying it on, being like, oh, this is amazing, and then putting it back on the shelf. Interesting. So online carts, any of you guys that have online stores or work with online stores will know this, online shopping carts are left with something in them 65% of the time. That's a big number. But what's different online than in the physical store is that usually Amazon will follow up with you and say, hey, Zach, hey, Woody, hey, Peter, hey, Teresa, hey, Megan, I need to tell you something. That thing that you were looking at, we wanted to remind you that you were looking at it. Amazing. So what do? They literally will remind you that you were interested in this thing. And honestly, you'll get these things. So I put these gloves. I didn't even put them in the cart. Right? I haven't even put this thing. I've been riding my bike a lot. Maybe one day I'll I'll introduce you guys to the bike. Right? But my bicycle does not have like grips. So it's just bare hand and I'm going to say metal, but it's probably not metal. Okay. So I'm riding the bike. This is a bicycle though, not a motorcycle. Okay. So I'm just riding the bike. I'm like, and I go, you know what? I probably need to invest in some cycling gloves. So I go on Amazon and I check to see how much they are. They're not a lot of money. I just haven't decided that this is a big enough pain point for me to do yet. So what do? I simply just look at a series of different gloves and I go, okay. And then Amazon knows that I was looking at that. And on the bottom bar, they have a thing like things you used to look at. And my wife and I have the same account, by the way. So I get to know what she's looking at too, which is scary around, holidays and birthdays. Because if I'm buying things on Amazon, she'll know it. But they have this thing built in, this feature built in, Amazon and many other websites as well, that will remind you that you looked at this thing, this product, this whatever you were searching for online. And the reason they do that is because clearly 64% of people are leaving something in the cart. Well, look, imagine how many people are just looking window shopping wise or just scrolling and be like, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. But if they can follow up with you later to figure out how interested you are, and maybe it's a couple of days later and maybe money isn't as tight, maybe you just paid your mortgage or your car payment or you just paid payroll, right? And then you have some extra money. You're like, okay, now I can do it, right? Not everyone's buying on the first encounter. Clearly, numbers state that people are not buying when they first look at something. It takes them a series of interactions to make that happen. So knowing that, what are you doing? What are you implementing in your day-to-days to follow up with people to say, are you ready to buy now? Right? So there's plenty of customers that are in my kind of, in my soon-to-be customers. I don't have a name for them. I don't know what I call them. And I have to follow up with them because it's just not time yet, right? It takes time. So you got to follow up with these people over and over and over again. And honestly, this happens in everything in life. Literally, it's a process of, I need to continue to follow up with people. I need to continue to follow up with people. Are you ready to buy those bicycle gloves? I'll probably get an email as soon as this is over. They've emailed me like, oh, you might not like these ones. You didn't look at this one. but try this one or try this one. Like, they're really trying hard to get $23 out of me. These are bicycles. I'm just like, whatever, I don't need them yet, right? And most people are like that. Most people are like, even if it's a couple of bucks, right? People just don't make decisions. They're like, it's not that big of a deal. So you have to continue to follow up. And another thing that they've done that is really important, as John Woodcock has mentioned, is simply the buy or the one-click button as well. I mean, think about how important that is, right? Why did they do that? Because they realized that getting this out, a wallet, and by the way, I do have cash. Imagine that. Getting that wallet out is really difficult. So then if they get that person back onto that site saying, here's this thing, here's the product that you were looking at, you can then click the button and go, boom, and it goes, boom, and guess what? Your product has been shipped, or at least ordered. But think about this. This is so important, and I don't understand why more people do not copy, leverage, replicate, figure out what that company is doing that maybe they could be doing. All these different kind of encounters that we go through, yet we do nothing with to use on our own. Start leveraging other businesses.